Midnight.
Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, Sir Charles joins the show for the first time ever to discuss AEW's major stadium show in Europe, the return of the WWE Draft, and NXT brings a little bit of heritage back to the black and gold brand. So sit back, relax, and oh yeah, by the way, Kay Murphy's also back. It's Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 336, a Hubris of Circumstance, exclusively on Wrestle Addict Radio, and it starts right now.
Midnight music.
The band's back together. I love this.
Hey!
What a pleasant surprise. Isn't it great? Talk about last-minute decisions going in well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 336. Of course, I am your host, King Ricky Rose. We have a fun-filled, jam-packed episode for you tonight. And with us for the very first time, which we're going to get to know him a lot better, since I've known him pretty much my entire life. I've known him since I was about 5 years old. That's how far back we go. My friend, Sir Charles. Sir Charles, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. How's it going?
It's good to have you. Good to have you. Of course, we have Will Tarashuk. Will, how are you doing today? How's that?
I'm putting up the questions for the first guest game. It's going to be a great
How's that
time.
alibi going, by the way?
What's my alibi? What's if it still has no actually, I was working. I watched it on TV with everyone else.
A likely story. And back for the very second time, maybe on a more permanent basis, Kay Murphy. How are you? Welcome back.
Hi, everybody. I also would like to point out that I can tell you exactly where I was on January 6th. I was in Queens on my way to a bachelorette party upstate. It was terrifying because everyone texted me telling me that I was going to die. Because
You were going to upstate New York.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame you.
It was very concerning. But I'm good. I'm very happy to be back. Y'all will be seeing some more of me in the coming weeks. Have had some schedule changes and some life changes, but also fuck Coke Zero. Can I tell you all about that?
Yeah, tell us about your personal history with Coke Zero. Because when you told me to put this in there, I was like, there has to be something weird that happened.
Okay. So I am hopelessly addicted to Coca-Cola. Regular Coca-Cola. I don't fuck with Diet Cola or Diet Soda or regular.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a can of Coca-Cola is my favorite thing. I love it. My roommate begs me to drink less of them so I don't get cancer. But I placed an Instacart order the other day, and one of the things I ordered was the cans of Coke. Yeah. And the Instacart driver, and I don't mean to generalize, but I had a man, and whenever a man does the Instacart orders, I notice it goes wrong every time without fail.
Oh yeah.
So they were out of Coke, and then he just decided to get Coke Zero instead. When I have it set to refund if there's no Coke, so that doesn't happen to me.
So Quan really wants to know what color this man was.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. That doesn't sound very convincing.
No, I don't.
What was his name?
I actually don't know. Let me look. This is the thing.
I
was working. Well, a lot of them don't have pictures.
That sounds suspect.
That's probably why I got a Coke Zero. He knew he'd get away with it.
His name was... What was his name?
It's Daryl.
Willis.
Oh, Willis? I know.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm making assumptions. I already know.
God damn.
Why are we making assumptions?
Have you named? Have you ever heard of someone? Have you ever known someone of a fair complexion with the name Willis?
I'm close.
I don't know any.
You are close.
I don't know any.
You are close. That's
I've
true.
I've never met anybody named Willis. Period.
Just one letter off.
You're two.
So there's is a fucking 12-pack of Coke Zero, and like I'm not a fan, so I'm literally trying to find ways to make it more palatable for me. So I'm literally drinking Coke Zero out of a wine glass with ice right now.
That doesn't make it more palatable.
And in my brain, it makes it taste better. It does not hit the same.
Well, yeah, because there's zero of anything good in there, especially cocaine, apparently. Although that's been Coke Zero for a while.
It's also been regular Coke for like decades. They don't put the cocaine in.
Yeah,
anymore.
we don't, and psychologists don't even prescribe cocaine anymore because that was a real thing back in like the early 1900s.
That's why cocaine's in Schedule 2 substances. It's used for medication.
It was. It was. Usually. Anywho, enough about drugs. That's not the drugs we do on this show because clearly half of the hosts here are already high. So in the spirit of everybody already being high, and Charles, is this your first time on the show? Will is going to take over, and he is going to play. You're going to play with Will. The first guest game.
First guest game.
Here we go.
Be alive for the first guest game. So, Mr. Sir Charles, I'm sure you know all these questions, so I'm going to start in no particular order with number one. How did you get into professional wrestling?
My godfather.
Your godfather. There's always that man.
Yeah. No, he used to take me to shows back in the day. So I went to plenty of shows at Nassau Coliseum. Also, growing up with wonderful people like Ricky, being wrestling fans. So also always had people to talk to about it. Yeah, that was really how I got into it, and Ricky's the reason why I got back into it. I want to say my early to mid 20s.
It wasn't. Wait, hold on. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that early, was it?
I was like 23.
No, you weren't. Because I didn't get back into it until, if so, you got into it a lot earlier. You got back into it earlier than I did, because I didn't get back into it until I was like 24, 25.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, listen.
It's okay. Memory's fleeting.
I do a lot of drugs, so my memories be fucked up. And I drink.
Shit happens when you party naked.
All right, so your godfather. Excellent answer. And then Ricky. I'm sure Ricky's going to be another answer to this question shortly.
Clearly.
So, your favorite wrestler currently and your favorite wrestler of all time, and tell me why both of them are MVP.
The Rock and Roman Reigns.
Oh, The Rock. Excellent. I knew The Rock.
Listen, I love wrestling for everything it is, not just the sports, but also the pageantry, the over-the-top characters, and the ridiculousness, and no one epitomized that more than The Rock. Over-the-top character at all times. Loved him. He's currently one of my favorite actors, even though half his movies are shit. Listen, you know what I mean? I support the hero. Roman Reigns, another one just kind of fit the mold. I'm not going to lie. I do have this secret fantasy of one day I'm going to grow up and be adopted Samoan. So there's also that.
Saquon already has you picked out. He already said you are a Samoan lover.
You goddamn right I am. You are fucking right. and I own that. I own that truthfully. But no, those are my two.
Yeah, I have a bonus question here. What's the better Rock movie? The better one, The Scorpion King or The Tooth Fairy?
Ooh. Ooh.
Which one's the better movie? Kay and Rick, you can answer this question too.
What?
Not gonna lie, I'm gonna go with The Tooth Fairy.
Charles, you're first.
I loved this.
I want to say The Tooth Fairy. Didn't The Tooth Fairy gross more? Because it was a family movie?
It probably did gross more.
Yeah.
Based on that
Scorpion King was a hit.
I'm gonna go. Scorpion King was a hit for reasons that were not related to The Rock.
It was just awful.
Yeah,
The movie's terrible.
I will say I'm probably gonna go with Tooth Fairy.
Tooth Fairy's charming.
Yeah, Fred's is gonna go because he saw The Scorpion King on his 18th birthday,
No.
and I can't pick up a worse way to spend your 18th birthday by going see The Scorpion King. But at the time,
Hey, I hope you were drunk at
the time, it was great, probably. But Kay,
No, I'm Team Scorpion for the sole purpose that I saw it when I was like 9 years old,
okay, that checks out.
and I thought it was a fun movie. I seen it as an adult, and I've never seen the Tooth Fairy. So it would not be fair of me to pick the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, you can't pick a movie you haven't
Very
seen.
True.
That's fair.
The only thing,
Okay, next
the only thing I
question.
remember about the
Yeah.
Scorpion King before we continue with Charles, the only thing I remember is he did have a hot co-star.
He did.
That's all I remember. But continue.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to remember. All right. Favorite match of all time.
All right. It was the triple threat at WrestleMania 39, The Miz versus Snoop Dogg versus Shane McMahon. That's just overall best improv work I've ever seen in the ring.
That was pretty good.
It was pure camp. I loved it.
Honestly, no. Icon versus icon.
Icon versus icon. Okay.
Icon versus icon, bro. Everything about it. Everything about it. It was great, even though fuck Hulk Hogan and everything that he does. Still that match.
It's a great match. It's a weird match. It's a funky match, but great.
They had the flip rolls on the fly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Charles, if you were a wrestler, what would your finisher be? Explain it and give it a name.
Avalanche finger poke of doom.
The Avalanche finger poke of doom. How does that work?
Very simply, from the top rope, straight poke right to probably like the collarbone area. That's what I'm thinking.
So do you jump like head first, like you dive into a swimming pool and poke him, or do you do like a 450 and poke him, or do you just kind of just Orange Cassidy and just poke him?
No, I'm actually coming off of a frog splash motion.
Impressive.
What if he's standing?
Poke him in the eye.
Even better.
Poke him in the
It
eye.
always works. I can always get him in the same spot. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, that's not at all what I expected. Not at all what I expected, but that's on me. I should have expected
Yes,
that.
that is true.
How did you find the Kings of the Rings
I've
podcast?
36 hours to think about these answers.
It's true.
Rick, you gave him the questions.
No. I just told him that he's playing the first guest game. I did not give him the questions at all. All right. So the story goes, freaking, he calls me in the middle of the day while I'm about to go on break to talk about something nerdy. Oh, he said, watch the Marvels trailer, which is what I did. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm on vacation this week. Can I go on the show? And I was like, yeah, let's test your connection right now. And we did it, and it was fun. I was like, all right, cool, you're on. This was we did that, and then we did Charles and I are competing against each other in GM mode in 2K23 on PlayStation.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Who's winning?
I won the
that
first
going?
week so far.
Charles, you gotta step up your game.
We started last week. I mean, we started not last week. We started yesterday.
How long will you?
What's the question, Kay?
How long will you be doing this for?
Oh, until we have a winner.
But how long will that take?
Until one of us submits.
Pretty much.
It's like D&D. It just goes on forever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, no. Charles and I are thinking about potentially maybe giving you guys updates as it goes along. We should give you a picture of our roster.
Yes, please.
you should.
We'll run it down. We'll run it down in the post show. Well, me and Kay will decide who has the better roster.
Yeah, we'll run down the post and then we'll play
Uh-huh.
I'm the Asshole and all that stuff. All right, back to the...
Excellent. How did you find the King's Rings podcast? And tell me the story of how Kay Murphy introduced you.
Okay. Ricky hit me up one day and said, "Listen to my podcast."
It's probably how it went.
That's the answer to the
It's
first
probably
one.
exactly how it went.
More or less. Or I was at a Hofstra bar and Ricky said, "Listen to my podcast." One of the two happened.
Either or.
Probably both.
That tracks.
Do you remember your
Yeah.
first episode, roughly? Your first moment? You remember?
No, I don't. I remember you guys in that shithole living room.
Which
With
one?
Yeah.
couches
Which
and-
one?
That was my bed. That was my bedroom.
Yeah, yeah. That was a bedroom. Sorry. wait.
Oh yeah, that's the one. The living room. There was a room full of furniture that said that scream throw me on the curb.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
that was
that
me.
was I believe I believe that was, correct me if I'm wrong, Will, I believe that was Frat House Wrestling.
That was definitely Frat House Wrestling
Yeah.
because Tower Shook Towers was literally in my bedroom, which is like the size of my office right here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a little tight.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely Frat House. So Charles has been rocking with us for a while. Like, Charles knows all the characters that we have either been on the show or that we've created on the show. Like, Mr. Frets was a character we essentially created on the show.
Yeah, Charles, who's your favorite wrestler? Who's your favorite member of the community?
Oof.
Past or present?
Ooh.
Three guys, one mic. Don't remind us of that, Mr. Frets. We had to share a microphone.
It was 2 mics, asshole.
That's after I used my mic from the bars.
You know, I'm not sure I have a favorite because every moment's got it. I have a different appreciation for. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But if you
It's
could
hard to
pick
pick
one.
I like
kids.
the pageant answer.
Hey, listen, I'm a poli-sci major, damn it.
This is very true.
Of course you are. You fucking sick wordsmith. All right, last question.
Most important question.
The most important question.
Are you, Sir Charles, on Team Slack or Team? No, I'm just kidding. Not Team Frets. I'm just kidding. Team Fuck You Slack.
Okay, I know I have to give you my gut reaction. I'm going to. However, you have to ask me my answer afterwards. My reasoning afterwards. It's Team Fuck Slack.
There we go.
Of course.
There we go.
Always.
All right, so
And
what is your
why?
reasoning?
Because clearly Slack is a white man, and I'm not about to give a white man any kind of slack. I'm not doing it. Can't do it. Sorry. I'm just not built like that.
Best answer you've ever had. For why?
I want to clip that, but I feel like it'll get us a lot of just negative publicity.
Can I nominate Charles for Hall of Fame for that comment alone?
Actually, no. Whenever Slack gets into the Hall of Fame, which will be never, by the way, Charles will.
That's when he
Wait,
slows it
That's
down.
when-
Hall of
Done.
Fame.
Dude, when Slack gets in the Hall of Fame, it's like TNA made Eric Young their world champion. They were just out of ideas.
When is our Hall of Fame?
What, you want an actual ceremony, or like when we were inducting somebody else?
Yeah.
Do we actually
Aren't
give
we
them their
due
T-shirts?
soon?
I always forget
It's
about
in the
that.
works.
So no.
Oh my god.
It's we always pick a show and make it a
So
surprise.
we
But
did-
Ricky and I do it around one or two times a year.
We do it once. So we did 100, which was Dave.
Yep.
Around 200 was the Queen, Danny. When we did Dark Side of the Kings, it was Ram with Ant. We thought about doing something for 350, and we were like, no. and so
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do
yeah,
that.
and well, we're not even at 350, number one.
I'm glad we're not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
and so it'll be around 400. So when 400 hits, we'll find somebody.
Okay.
It'll
No, Mr. Frets, the three of us go in when the day the podcast
Yeah.
ends. You fool.
It'll probably be my my first initial thoughts of who it might be. It'll probably be Slack's dad.
I was just gonna say
That's a
Mr.
good
Slack,
number
right?
4. Or maybe,
He gets in just for making a son we can shit on. And
and he's okay with it. He's in on it.
he's okay with it. You know, it's all in
Question,
good
though.
fun.
What year is Freckles being inducted in the Celebrity Way?
The second statistician of the
You know what? When we get enough Patreon members to afford to build a wing for celebrities, I'll bet.
inanimate object wing.
I think Freckles deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
As the second statistician of the
You know what,
podcast,
Kay?
yes.
I feel like people who are actually alive deserve to go in a little bit first.
There's a couple of people, in all seriousness, that I think we can actually put in as number 4. I think,
There's plenty of people.
yeah, Nikki Skywalker, I think, is like,
Nikki just won't call me
Yeah.
back.
maybe because she's finally engaged.
Well, I haven't talked to Nikki since the work, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Maybe we'll,
What's up, Nikki?
maybe we'll induct Christina and have our first denial.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
We could induct the Valkyrie as a whole. We haven't done a group.
Faction.
Yeah.
It won't. As 1/4 of Valkyrie, I can tell you that's not going to happen.
Kay
I
will
didn't
accept
s-
on all of
I
their
didn't-
behalf.
like,
We just give Kay 4
I
shirts.
didn't have to say that they all had to be present. I just said we can induct the
You
group.
can't.
Yeah, it's like,
can't
hey,
induct-
they inducted the Click when Scott Hall was dead, maybe. Like, they could still do that.
Yeah, you guys don't all have to be present and/or accept. This is like, there's no
Just
backseats.
the word.
Yes, remember, you won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer if you deny it. Poor Jeff Hardy. He's no longer a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I know.
I'm so happy I found that out.
Yeah.
Such a great
We can bring in Issa if we really wanted to. MJ would be a good choice as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or Nick. What about Big Dick Nick?
Dude, I would love to talk to Big Nick Dick again. Big Dick Nick. Big Nick Dick.
Big Nick Dick. That's your new name, K Murphy. Big Nick.
Big Nick Dick. Nick. Big Nick Dick.
Or the Vaz family for, helping us out all those times.
Yeah.
I think the Vaz family should be the first group entrant.
That'd be cool. They always supply us with stuff, like the blueprints of the new WWE headquarters, Orbit Dimensions.
The blueprints? Jesus Christ.
It wasn't
they break in and get them?
No, he works in construction.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He's like, oh, I found the plans. Here are the dimensions of it. I was like, oh, sweet. Taquan, we have to get you on. We're not inducting Fourth Wall, although they are good. That is a good idea as well.
I love the Fourth Wall guys.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Me too.
They're
They're great.
I miss them. They were great.
Bones and company were hysterical, and Doc Haas and all of them. But yeah, we can talk about the Hall of Fame a little bit later, but we do need to get into the show because there is some very interesting stuff to talk about, and none of that is including MJF Day whatsoever, although, K. Murphy, I know you were there for it. But
Oh my God!
It's the big man in the back too.
Wait, I can't talk about that. Really?
We're gonna talk about AEW. You're gonna get your moment.
I mean, they were there.
Yeah, they were there. We are gonna
let them speak their piece because they were actually fucking.
Well, I have an AEW segment this week. We got to get into some other stuff. Speaking of which,
well, you know what, Rick, you didn't send the rundown, so I didn't read it.
Well, you never read the rundown anyways. Speaking of AEW also announced that they are going to do their first ever really major stadium show. And they're bringing All In to Chicago again. I'm joking. All In is actually going to London to Wembley Stadium. A big deal. This is like an 80,000, 90,000 seat arena. The NFL usually does Wembley Stadium when they do like their 3 Europe games. The team that mostly goes over to Europe, to London in Wembley Stadium, is the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is owned by the Khan family. This makes all the sense in the world that they already have a relationship with it because Jacksonville fans are kind of shitty. If you haven't figured that out, that's why they go to Wembley Stadium all the damn time. Plus, the Jaguars aren't really that good. So this is a big deal. Wembley Stadium show, August 27th, AEW All In. I'm assuming now that All In is officially their biggest show of the year, because I don't know what exactly their WrestleMania would be. This seems like this is clearly it. So what are our initial thoughts on AEW going to London and Wembley Stadium, the same place where WWE did SummerSlam in 92 when the British Bulldog, drugged up, beat Bret Hart because Bret Hart carried him through it. Charles, what are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, as a diehard WWE, I could not give two flying fucks about what AEW is doing. However, I'm glad that they're prospering because that means the business is getting better. The industry is getting better. However, something bad is going to happen. I just feel it in my bones. Something's going to happen. Is going to something of notoriety. Something that is going to have Twitter talking, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah, CM Punk shows the main event.
I have a follow-up question. What bad, no good, sort of horrible thing do you foreshadow?
Ooh.
There's going to be a riot in the stadium.
Okay.
Why?
Like FIFA World Cup level riot for no discernible reason.
Interesting.
Huh. I don't see that happening. For me, I see more so like if you've seen anything that NXT does overseas when they travel overseas, like take over London or NXT UK in general, those fans are flippin' amazing. Like they are so much fun.
Can I give a little prediction?
Go ahead, Kay.
I think AEW is signing grizzled young veterans and they're debuting at Wembley.
GYV did ask ask for their release. They were still on NXT TV this week, so they're not released yet. But they did ask for it, so that'd be interesting.
But if they dip soon, there's enough time, assuming because they have the NXT, so it's a 30-day non-compete.
I believe it's 60.
Might be 60.
Okay, so
Either
they
or
have
they have enough.
They would have enough time as of right now.
Yeah. Imagine fucking taking your shoes off at Wembley Stadium. That would be an iconic mark moment.
Shoes off for Gibson. 80,000 people taking their shoes off for Zach
Wembley,
Gibson.
Yeah.
Do they get 80,000 people?
I don't think they do. I honestly don't.
AEW, okay, this is a bold move. And I'm glad they're taking this gamble. I'm glad they're going all in. Is now the right time? Because can they sell out a state? WWE can, but WWE's been around for 50 years. AEW hasn't. How big is AEW in Europe? I honestly have no idea.
I've heard it's big over there.
Well,
I mean, I watch I watch fucking I watch Cultaholic almost every day of my life. And they cover AEW a lot. Like, a lot. Like, equally as much as WWE, if not more sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's probably...
Go ahead, Kay, sorry.
I think it's bigger... I think AEW is bigger overseas than we're giving them credit for. Also, keep in mind that...
Go ahead. Sorry, Kay.
AEW fans... It's okay. AEW fans haven't had access to a live event. Because it's not just London that's going to go to that, like Ireland, Scotland, literally Paris, maybe anywhere else that's like relatively accessible. Plus, even U.S. fans that have the money to go.
Which, with the marks, I don't think is going to be that many.
Yeah,
that can afford all that just to fly over. And plus, the economy, Europe's economy, I think AEW will easily do 50. Will they do 80?
I don't believe so, no.
If the tickets are like $15, they could probably do 80.
Yeah.
If you got like nosebleeds for like $15, but that's another thing too. It's like what do you price the tickets at?
This is very true. I don't know the conversion for it.
I literally went to Dynamite.
Kay, how much like roughly was it the average ticket when you went to Dynamite at UBS the other day?
Okay. So I had fucking I was section 106. And I paid $40.
Yeah, it's very affordable. If tickets are very, very affordable, I think they could probably do 65,000, maybe 70.
And the thing is, I bought the tickets the week before the show. I bought them super last minute. I got great seats, and it's the cheapest I've ever paid to see a taping.
Yeah. Yeah. So sticking with AEW's kind of motto is that they always wanted to make their pricing affordable, which number one is smart, and number two, they could make it affordable because the Khan family is already loaded fucking rich. So it's
true.
Yeah, so
the company's still got to turn a profit, which it hasn't done yet.
That is also very true. So I can see them sticking to that.
Remember, Ricky, if you don't turn a profit after 5 years, you're not considered a business; you're considered a hobby.
And they're getting close to the 5-year mark.
They're getting pretty close.
They are getting close to the 5-year mark.
Tony Khan's gonna have $1 billion hobby on his hands.
So it is very interesting to me that they are taking this leap so early. Like when you think about it, WWE did the Wembley Stadium show in '92 before we even did WrestleMania. In stadiums, in big ass stadiums, and they Wembley Stadium was their biggest show, and then they stopped for a long time until WrestleMania, literally 23 in Detroit was the first stadium show, and they're like, oh, we can do this now. So this is a very, very bold leap. However, according to the media, the press release from AEW, they do relatively well in their 18 to 30 something demographic that they always want to laud over everybody. According to Europe, they do dominate that. According to their press release, they do dominate that bracket in Europe. So there's a potential for it, but also with people in that age bracket, the tickets have to be cheap. But this is also Wembley Stadium. You don't just book Wembley Stadium and not have a major plan in place for this, and you also want a high gate. Remember,
this show's gonna be more expensive to run because you gotta get the talent and everything overseas,
and the booking fee for the stadium itself.
Right. if this show doesn't turn a profit, I don't care how many people are there. It's not successful. Like literally, like definitionally.
Yeah, this is a.
You can put on seven 5-star matches, and Meltz can give the main event a 9-star match. If you don't turn a profit, I think it's a failure.
It's a big risk. It's a big risk for them to take. So we'll see how this goes.
I think they will turn a profit. I think the show's going to be massively successful. It's bold.
They're going to inflate the hell out of the numbers.
They're going to what?
They're going to inflate the numbers.
They're going to inflate the hell out of the numbers. They'll probably overstaff the event, for one, and comp like 15,000 tickets.
So that, I mean, again, not out of the realm of possibility at all whatsoever. So this is something that's going to be really, really, that we're really going to look at as it gets closer to its time. Let's move along to the return of the WWE Draft, a thing that really no one asked for. However, Triple H came out on Friday, and we all thought he said he was going to quit, but he did not quit. But he came out and said...
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah. He came out and said, but the WWE Draft is returning, and that it's going to be, quote-unquote, a big game changer. It's going to change the game and be the biggest draft ever. So my question to everybody, starting with Sir Charles over here, what do they need to do to make this WWE Draft the biggest draft ever?
It has to mean something. And it has to be different than the ones before. So, and I've actually given this some thought. You don't want to really deprive each network of certain superstars because it didn't work well for you in the past, and that's kind of the reason why Roman Reigns still has both belts, because neither network's about to give his ass up, especially not during the sale. So what you do is whichever show they're drafted to, those are the championships they can compete for. Whereas, should a storyline happen to drift into another show, organically, you let it happen. But that's just me.
Interesting. Well, what do you think? And Fret's Impact is not draft eligible. Stop it.
I think now is a bad time for a draft. It's like, again, like Charles said, it has to mean something. What's the point? It's like, cool, I'll watch it. It's interesting. It's like, I like a nice shake-up, but they don't follow their own draft rules, ever. There's always crossover, because that's what the networks want. It is better for business not to have a draft. It's better for creative to have a draft.
Yeah.
But it's bad for business. So, like, if there was one network, the brand split works. I think it makes more sense. It's like, who's complaining? But if it's between Fox and USA, you have the same problems we ran into a few years ago. But what's the big surprise? Maybe they split the belts and Roman defends on both shows, it means he has to double duty, which is never going to happen. I think that would be big if they split the belts and he defended on both shows and had two feuds going simultaneously. I think that'd be fucking wild.
I mean, he essentially is on both shows to begin with, and the way that
he has to be.
Yeah,
he's the guy.
And the way that I see the structure set up that I've seen currently with WWE, with this, especially with the Fox and USA being involved, is that there are superstars, particularly that you will only see on Raw and SmackDown, but like your bigger stars will cross over essentially all the time, because they've done it with Roman, they did it with Sami and the Usos, because that was just money for everybody.
Yeah.
But it does have to be a little bit separate and unique.
And you can just say in kayfabe, he's ahead of the table. He needs to be on both shows to make that money. Just turn the truth into storyline.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing about it is that Triple H did say everybody is eligible to be drafted, which makes it very, very interesting. Kay Murphy, what are your thoughts on this future draft?
You guys actually just sparked an idea, and I want to see if it's eligible.
Oh, here we go.
Kayfabe.
Yes.
Wait.
Your name is Kayfabe?
Yes, that's perfect.
What do we think?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
How do you spell fabe? Is it one word? Dash? What do you do?
Don't do K-Fabulous, because that is taken by somebody.
Wait, what did you say?
Don't do K-Fabulous, just do Kayfabe.
Ew. No, I wouldn't do that.
Kayfabe is a great nickname for you, Kay.
Yeah.
Kayfabe wins. What if, to Fred's point in the chat here, I hope they draft Corey Graves and Wade Barrett goes to Raw, and Raw's commentary is just the most annoying, awful commentators, and Kevin Patrick and Wade Barrett.
I hate him.
Would be the opposite of entertaining.
Okay, but like for real about the draft, can we just like circle back to Roman splitting the belts. I think they have to. Because I feel like it'll make him so much stronger as a champion if he's actually defending 2 separate titles versus hoarding one title with 2 belts. Like, I love him so much, but I need something new.
There is rumblings that they were supposed to create a completely new belt, but the fact that they have not, it is
a problem.
No, it's not a problem. I think it's just a cop out. Because what if the media rights deal is complete and they're still on 2 separate networks? Then they're never going to merge those belts. Or if they go to like one company for media rights, like a Fox, if Fox gets the exclusive media rights to them, or USA gets the exclusive rights to them completely, then they're going to merge that belt.
Yeah, I don't want to split the titles, to be honest. I prefer one champion.
Yeah, and that champion has to travel.
Really?
The champion has to travel.
Yeah, you know why? Because it makes you want other people to win more. And I think it just you have to establish that one guy above the rest. Like we talked about last week with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing wrong with Seth. Cody's just better. It's like if Seth never wins that title, it makes me want him to win it more because I think he deserves it.
Yeah.
But there's 2 titles to go after. It's like, oh great, Seth won it. Cool.
It kind of waters down one title, and WWE has done that before with the world title. It made it look horrible.
I think there is a new title belt as well. And I think once Roman drops the belts, then they're going to introduce a new title. You just beat the head of the table. You are the new guy. Here's your new belt. Doesn't make sense to give Roman a new belt right now.
Yeah, Charles, you had something.
That makes sense.
Having a single world title that flows between both shows gives it that much more importance over just the men's titles, over the secondary titles. Because it's like, okay, you're good enough. So you beat everybody on your show. Are you good enough to take on everybody in the company? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Great way of looking at
it. That's a fantastic way of looking at it.
And with that logic, you should unify the women's titles in that.
Is leading. Yeah, they got to do the same thing with the women.
Yeah.
Like you can make the argument like Gunther rules SmackDown. He doesn't rule Raw. In fact, I don't want to see Gunther on Raw.
And he's not on Raw.
Great on SmackDown.
He's exclusive.
He's never on Raw.
Exclusive to SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's great at it. It makes him shine more in a weird way.
No, it's good.
He's not overexposed. He's still an attraction.
Exactly. And once you get to that world champion level, you should be able to hold your weight on both shows.
And you should be on both shows.
Yeah.
Main events need to be on both shows. I completely agree.
I agree. Yeah. The one thing I will say for this, because Triple H said, I was thinking outside the box. Like, how can you make this as big as ever? Or the biggest thing where everybody's on the line? I think you have to make NXT available. Now, I'm not saying NXT in this current iteration is equal to Raw and SmackDown, because clearly there is a difference. But NXT, or people should be able to be sent to NXT in the draft. Like, you know how they always call up people from NXT?
That's not a bad idea.
You know.
But the problem is, right? You have first round. So Roman's not in the draft, right? Say he's not eligible, just for the sake of argument.
Sure.
You draft Seth first to Raw, then you draft like Drew McIntyre to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why wouldn't NXT be like, all right, we're taking Edge? You know what I mean? Like,
you don't let NXT draft until round 5. So then you're essentially giving NXT half the picks later in the draft pool.
It's interesting.
It would be like Raw how they do it? They do like 3 picks. How they do it? What are the rules for the draft?
So
It's 3 hours.
Historically, the way they did it by hours. So since Raw was a 3-hour show, they had 3 picks to SmackDown's 2. So and
that's 1 round.
That's every round.
Every round.
Yeah.
So you could do NXT gets 1 pick, but the other shows get 2 and 3
potentially. Yeah.
Per round. I think that could work. Because by that time, you're going to have 5 major stars off the board, plus like Brock and Roman who can float because they're Brock and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And like if NXT took like a Finn Balor or not someone of that caliber, like a Damian Priest, it's more believable. And the first pick, they'd probably take their champion anyway.
Yeah, the other rule too is also that, like, what do you do with factions? Like, are factions a package deal? Because sometimes they've been a package deal. Sometimes they've split them up. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends what they want to do for storylines.
Exactly. So,
like, oh, Grizzly Young Veterans, you want to release? Guess what? One of you's on SmackDown. Guess which one it is? You'll find out. The other one, oh, you're staying in NXT.
Yeah. Or another idea potentially be like, I liked when, especially when I was in wrestling, when I saw the clips, like the draft wasn't always televised. It was always like we had a draft and who's gonna show up. Like the time when Jericho was doing the thing and he's like, oh, the WWE's Raw's number one draft pick, and it happened to be John Cena out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to be like who got drafted where, and just figure it out on like that Monday or that Friday.
Dude, I loved the draft as a kid. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
So let's take that idea, right? Remember when the draft used to like televise like the first like 8 rounds or whatever, and then the rest would be online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could run that same idea, right? To where you essentially run, say, 98% of the roster, leaving like 6 to 10 superstars left undrafted, and those 6 to 10 go to NXT.
Supplemental draft, as Fred said. It's a great idea. NXT gets a supplemental draft.
Oh my God, Ricky, I got it. The groundbreaking news that's going to change everything.
What?
So you know how like Adam Pearce or like Sonya Deville would give the draft picks?
Yeah.
Every single draft pick, Roger Goodell is going to come out and just read the names.
To a chorus of boos.
The first pick in the WWE Draft, Raw selects. Boo! He has to get booed like 18 times on live television by a WWE crowd. And Triple H just goes, yeah, Fox loves it.
You know what would be better? Replace Roger Goodell? Have it be Vince. Have it be Mustache Vince.
Dude, Vince and Robert Goodell tag teamed. Vince did Raw, Roger Goodell did SmackDown.
And then you do that weird Eric Bischoff and Vince handshake.
They do the weird hugging. That would be the greatest draft in the history of drafts if Roger Goodell and Vince McMahon with the genius mustache just read all the draft picks.
Oh my God.
And at the end, Stone Cold stuns both of them.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Oh, that'd be brilliant. I mean, we could see Ari Emanuel since he's buying WWE. Dude,
Yeah, I forgot to mention, I forgot to make an Ariel Helwani and Dana White joke last week. Now they're technically part of the same company. I'm sure that's going to
go solid. Gotta go solid. So the draft apparently might be happening after Backlash. We will see what happens with that. Moving on, speaking of things draft, and somebody's going to be draft eligible, Logan Paul re-signed with WWE. He signed what people are saying is a multi-year deal, and he already has high hopes because he wants to become WWE champion, which if you're going to resign, why the fuck not?
Yeah, dude, he gave my PR rep wrote this statement. I want to inspire kids.
No, you don't.
I want to prove that anyone can be WWE champion. It's just like, dude, you're the one who like made fun of dead people in the woods.
Yeah,
like in Japan.
It's true. Charles, on you.
Oh man, there's no possible way he had anything to do with that speech. That's terrible. I didn't hear it, but going based off what Will said,
it's just a statement. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Best decision he possibly could have made. I don't see why he wouldn't have done it. It was great for him. He's great for the product. I think he did the right thing. And I wish him luck because unfortunately he's very good at it. Even though I would love to see him fall on his face just because he's a douchebag, he's fucking good at it, and you can't be mad at that.
Sure, K. Murphy, what are your thoughts on Logan Paul resigning?
I have the screen. I can't wait to see Nate Diaz beat the shit out of his brother.
Oh, I found it. I wouldn't have signed this contract if I didn't think that I was capable of getting a WWE belt. I think it'd be the coolest thing ever. I'd love to have it on my resume, and I'd love to show every kid around the world who watches WWE that you can achieve anything.
Yeah, that was PR 101.
I mean, there's this whole article is just filled with Logan Paul quotes that are just written by a PR agent.
My God. K. Murphy, what are your thoughts on Logan Paul resigning?
I feel like that's like an AI statement. Like an AI made that.
ChatGPT.
Or Logan Paul. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Like, I don't think it's surprising that Logan Paul is going to resign when, unfortunately, he's a good wrestler, and for whatever reason, people want to watch him wrestle. So, hopefully he gets the shit kicked out of him, but best of luck to him.
I think he goes as high as a U.S. champion.
Yeah, he's not going to be the fucking WWE champion. That's a joke.
Yeah, no, he gets the U.S. title. He'll get a tag title first. He'll go for the U.S. and win. Well, fuck it. Logan Paul can win King of the Ring.
That'd be pretty cool.
Okay. That will send shockwaves on wrestling Twitter.
I can see it.
I'm here to watch the world burn. But let's move on from all of that to the other big news. Guess what? Dark Side of the Ring has announced Season 4.
Good luck.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Have you heard what...
There's one I can't wait to watch.
Season 4 of Dark Side of the Ring is actually going to be pretty interesting as I pull up right now what they're going to be talking about for Dark Side of the Ring Season 4. It's going to be some very interesting topics, including... What do we got here? It's going to include... the stories like emotional roller coasters of one of wrestling's most captivating and controversial couples, Chris Candido and Tammy Sitch, aka Sunny. The car accident that took out Magnum TA. We are also going to get a one on Abdullah the Butcher. We are also
that's gonna be a good one.
We're also going to get one on Will's favorite ECW wrestler, the Sandman. And last but not least, the one that I am most excited about because it's going to be an absolute train wreck. There is a Dark Side of the Ring coming on Marty Jannetty.
That is my most anticipated television program of the year. Fuck the Drag Race finale on Friday. Marty Jannetty.
Wow.
On Dark Side of the Ring.
Dude, it kind of seems like it's just like a biography show now.
No.
Like though, I'm pretty. That's pretty cool. Like it's worth watching. It's like okay, I want to watch a documentary on the Sandman, but like Dark Side of the Ring was the murder of Brody Lee. Like that was an episode. Now it's just the Sandman.
Well, the Sandman's a sad character.
What does it mean though? Like, what's the dark side?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Right, but it's like I guess New Jack because like he actually almost murdered someone in the ring. That's sure. That makes sense.
Like twice.
But like what the dark? I don't get the dark side of. Like the Montreal Screwjob, right? There's a dark side of wrestling. It's like, oh, I was fucked up. But it's like, okay, Marty Jannetty. What are you gonna say? Oh, Shawn Michaels fucked him over. You got kicked through a.
Have you followed Marty Jannetty since he left wrestling?
Yeah, he's out of his mind.
Yeah, there you go. That's it right there.
Go on Marty Jannetty's Facebook. It is my favorite thing. he allegedly murdered someone. Like, that's gonna be on there.
Oh yeah.
How almost I think it's either like a sex worker he murdered or a gay guy or something.
Jesus.
It's a whole thing.
Listen.
But he admits to it on Facebook that he murdered someone.
Oh my God, that's goodness gracious.
That's
very problematic, Marty Jannetty.
Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
Please do. Here's the thing. You got to do something in Season 4 because clearly the AEW backstage drama isn't old enough yet to get a Dark Side documentary. So they have to hold on until we can get, the CM Punk incident. That's what you got to do. But let's go on this thing of Dark Side of the Ring. Sir Charles, our guest host today. What is a Dark Side of the Ring that you would want to see in the future?
Ooh. Besides the backstage fight, because I'm always down for some just genuine drama and fisticuffs.
I got one.
I got one
Sure,
too.
I'll be honest. I haven't watched too many. I haven't watched any of the Dark Side of the Moons. Sorry, Dark Side of the Rings. I apologize.
You should. They're fantastic.
I've heard great things. I've seen snippets, and I just haven't taken the time to sit down and watch a whole one. However, I feel like it covered a lot of the ones I really would have wanted to see already.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't cover Owen Hart yet, did they?
Yeah, they did. Two-parter.
They did two-parter to end season one.
That would have been like the one because that was actually like the first pay-per-view I remember watching. So yeah.
I still have to watch part
Y'all,
two
I
of Brian Pillman's.
Found it.
What do you got, Kay?
Can I read it to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to read you a Marty Jannetty's Facebook post from 2020 about how he admitted murdering someone. He says, I never told no one this, even my brother Gino, because Gino would have killed him, and I didn't want my brother gone. Hell, he'd only recently came home from Vietnam. I was 13, working at Victory Lane's bowling alley, buying weed from an F-slur that worked there, and he put his hands on me. He dragged me around to the back of the building. You already know what he was going to try to do. That was the very first time I made a man disappear. They never found him. They should have looked in the Chattahoochee River. But Winnie, the girl in these pics, I liked you so damn much, probably my favorite, but I promised myself way back then that nobody would ever hurt me again. That includes you. I loved you, but you hurt me with your fucking Jamaican jealousy. You can go your own way. I don't need you.
That's so...
FBI, open up!
That's what needs to happen to Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
So, I remember when this happened because I have, a wrestling group chat, and, we talk about Marty Jannetty in there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said he wanted to have sex with the woman that he raised as a daughter.
All right.
Damn it. Oh, that's a good dark side.
Yeah.
Okay, did he say the actual F slang, or did he actually say, quote, F slang?
No, I redacted.
You redacted? Okay, so he said the actual. If he said
no,
what he actually said, that would have been.
Oh no, he said. He
said the actual
faggot.
word.
I just.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not my favorite.
No, okay. If he actually said F word slang, F word whatever, I would have been.
No,
I
feel like I feel like he said the N word. Honestly.
Probably did.
With reckless abandon.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of N word, that's my dark side of the ring. Hulk Hogan saying the N word.
What? Stop!
You can't open sentences like that, bro.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, it's very dangerous. Very dangerous move.
Well, that's my dark side. It's my dark side episode.
Here's my dark side episode, and it's unconfirmed, but I want them to see how far they can get with it. Macho Man and Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, no one's going to talk about that. Nobody's going to talk about that.
That's what.
Bullshit. It'll be on Netflix.
Honky Tonk Man might talk about that.
I'm just saying, Stephanie's no longer affiliated with the company. Macho Man is.
Yeah, Stephanie Man's gonna hop on and go, "Oh, he fucked me so good." I was 14.
It is one of the stories that still needs some answers in wrestling. We have stories for mostly everything else. Kay, what's a dark side you want to see besides Marty?
I can't wait.
Marty Jannetty was my number one, actually. So, I'm gagged that it's happening. But, CM Punk AEW fight's pretty up there. I feel like, it's not that I want to see this, but I can see it happening. I feel like Jeff Hardy's going to end up on the show somehow.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So it's not I want to see it, but it's a matter of when is it going to happen.
I think the Hardys are going to have their own 4-part series.
Yeah.
You could do did Vince Russo tank WCW on purpose?
Ooh, that's fun.
You know why? Because I want to see my dark side, because you're going to interview Vince Russo, you're going to interview Bischoff, you're going to interview Jim Cornette, and that's all I want to hear. I want to hear Jim Cornette go off about his hatred for Vince Russo.
You could do a Vince Russo and why everyone fucking hates him, even though he's one of the greatest people ever in wrestling history.
So you know how, do you remember, there's an ESPN 30 for 30 called I Hate Christian Laettner?
Yes, I hate Vince Russo.
I hate Vince Russo.
I hate Vince Russo. Oh, Vince Russo goes out and goes, bro, I fucking hate me too.
What a wreck. What a wreck. Dark Side of the Ring coming very soon.
My mother hated me.
Very, very soon. Let's move on to some other things going on in the current world of wrestling, like Cody Rhodes doing his best Colonel Sanders impression with that off-white suit. Challenges Brock Lesnar to Backlash because Roman is on vacation, which is pretty evident by the fact that you haven't heard a lick out of him since the Raw after Mania. So, Charles, what are your thoughts on Reverend Rhodes and his latest sermon?
All right, it was a great promo. Thought it was wonderful. It was passionate. I was ready to drop a couple dollars into the collection plate. Still not the biggest fan of this direction, even though it makes the most sense from a who else is available standpoint. They haven't established anybody else to be on Roman's level outside of Brock. Brock's been Roman's gatekeeper ever since the WrestleMania match.
Yeah,
you got to. You know what I'm saying? You beat Brock. Next logical person for you to go on to would be Roman.
Yeah,
so I get why. You know what I'm saying? I get why it's Brock, but it's kind of out of nowhere. Don't really make much sense, and I'm pretty sure Brock got better things to do, like train to fight John Jones. Because if I don't get this fight, I'm gonna be highly upset.
The issue with this here is that besides Cody being a reverend on the mic all the time, and he also addressed a lot of the rumors. So he even addressed the rubber chicken in the ring at WrestleMania, which again,
that was gold.
fantastic by Cody. He even addressed the argument that people saying that he didn't do enough to earn it, which I thought was a great little jab at some people. The issue is that the other side of this story about why Brock was attacked Cody is the worst excuse I have heard for a wrestling story in a very, very long time. He was mad because he was the first match on the card?
This is the same guy that decided because he wasn't going to main event, he was going to be the first match on the card at WrestleMania so he can go and be about his day.
Yeah. So, why is he mad now?
For him.
That's where they're losing me in this storyline.
There's a better way to tell that story. He's like, listen, you had me work at this bum Omos who doesn't want to match since NXT.
Well, you are an Homo sapien. You take that back.
The guy who used to be a giant ninja, that's who my opponent is. No, fuck you. I'm being in the main event whether you want. I'm gonna put myself in the main event. Talk about me now. That's the better way to tell this story.
It sounds like you
Brock's
just have hate
mad
for Omos.
No, I'm saying Brock should have hate for Omos. I'm saying Brock should be because also playing off the internet, everyone's like, why is Brock so low on the card, right? Why is Brock fighting this no-name loser who always loses?
You have to answer to Quan. Are you homophobic?
A little bit. He's so terrifying.
Well,
he's so big. He's gonna eat me if he ever hears this. But yeah. But
how can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
Wait, what?
None of you know that song?
No, sorry.
Is this no?
You took me.
Yeah, we're all flabbergasted here.
That's the better way to tell the story. Because Brock could just be like, listen, I was sick of being on the undercard. I belong in the main event. I'm gonna be in the main event whether you want me to or not.
The only problem is we haven't heard anything from Brock, which is the big issue.
Yeah. That's the better way to tell that. That's the story you can tell here to make it believable.
Because Brock's only works once a month.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird, and Brock needs to provide answers for everybody. But let's move on.
But it's going to be great when Cody beats him.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. Into the return no one actually really cared for, Matt Riddle, who remembered to wear pants this week, showed up and is now automatically injected into this ongoing placeholder known as the Bloodline feud without Roman, because, let's be honest, folks, without Roman Reigns in the picture, this feud is kind of mid.
This is bullshit, man.
Yes.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I don't need Matt Riddle in my main event Sami Zayn storyline.
Yeah, which is ironic because it makes
Riddle.
the most. Yeah, it's ironic because it makes the most sense out of all the storylines we just talked about. Because Solo did take out Riddle when he went to rehab, and now he's back. And now he's back wearing a 420 bro shirt like we haven't learned anything at all.
Well, it is April.
It is.
I know, but still, it's just.
I kind of feel like, listen, Sammy had his moment. It's like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are very much back down to earth.
Yeah.
The Sammy Pops they're done. You know what I mean? It's like you had your moment, you did it, mission accomplished. All right. We never thought about after.
That was the issue. That's why I still say Cody should have won. Because now look at the fallout. Roman's not around, and now the bloodline is still kind of a thing. Like there seems to be a lot of iffiness.
That's fine though, dude. The story was told. You know, the story was told and it was told right. It's finished. Now it's time. You gotta wait a little bit to start something else.
Yeah. Oh hey, Kay, don't look at the comments right now.
Stop it. Stop it.
Speaking of people
Stop
returning
it.
from rehab.
Stop it.
Hey, no.
Stop it. Dead ass. Dead ass.
He's the one that watches AEW Dynamite while we do this show. Usually it's you, Kay.
Yeah, Kay, turn on your television.
I don't have one.
Oh, that's bad.
Well,
I don't know
why
how
do
you
think
survive.
Seriously.
I use my computer normally, but I'm doing the show right now, so I can't exactly watch Dynamite while doing the show.
Oh, that attitude.
Yeah, so it is confirmed. It is confirmed. Jeff Hardy has returned.
Cool.
Welcome back, Jeff. He's probably still dancing his way to the ring right now.
Oh, yay.
Don't cry on us, Kay, please.
Thank God.
You don't know, cry. I want you to cry. You didn't cry last week. I want you to cry this week.
I wasn't here last week. I think
before.
that it's very fitting that I am here the week Jeff Hardy comes back.
It's also very fitting that Jeff Hardy
And come
comes
on.
back during our Matt Riddle segment.
No, literally though. But like, remember I had the last minute impulse. I'm like, I'm gonna come on the show.
Yeah.
And now Jeff Hardy's here.
I mean, I guess.
Punk's next, y'all.
No.
Punk's next,
no.
y'all.
All right, listen.
My time
Listen.
is coming.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yo, Punk is next.
Punk needs to stay far away. Like, I'm good. Chick magnet Punk.
Dude, Punk needs to main event that fucking stadium with Kenny Omega.
The only people that will accept
Yeah.
him is the Wembley Stadium.
For the Undertaker.
Say what?
What was that, Charles?
I said Punk needs to start doing one-man shows and open for the Undertaker.
Oh my God.
God. That'd be so funny. I should be the main event.
Mr. Fretz, does Jeff look healthy?
He said he looks good. So I don't know what that
The
means.
greatest feud in wrestling is Jeff Hardy versus sobriety. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
is.
is true. So yeah, the Riddle Sammy thing, and also the weird thing about Raw losing half their roster because of flight issues, which is interesting. And then you had Sami Zayn and Riddle literally running from the parking lots to go to the ring for the save. It's an interesting time to be wrestling, and the fact that Roman's away right now kind of is exposing some people. So it's interesting to see what they do with this. But let's move on to Trish turned heel. Not when we all expected it. Trish turned heel, which I guess is going to lead to the end of Lita's run if Lita was already taken out of TV. Because if you guys watched Raw, Lita was taken out, presumably by Trish, before their match. Becky and Lita dropped the tag titles in the hot potato that is the women's tag titles to Liv and Raquel, and Trish turned on Becky. So we can all assume that Lita's done, and we're getting Trish and Becky at Backlash. Sir Charles, what are your thoughts on seeing heel Trish return?
I'm here for it. I'm always here for it. Any bit of satisfaction I can get on my television, I'm always going to be here. Excuse me, here for it. one of my fondest memories was Trish's debut. So yeah, and I don't give a damn. But I will say it does make the most sense because if you're gonna go Becky Trish, you want to keep the man. You want to keep Becky as a face because Becky as a heel don't make no sense for her to start flip flopping because then you just turn her into Charlotte. So you want to keep. You have to keep Becky in the role she's in now. So that forces Trish to have to go heel, and for a legend to go heel for a one-off is not a big deal.
It's very true. Well, Terrence Hawk, do you like your satisfaction as a heel?
You know, it's funny, Ricky, we've been talking for the past few weeks. I swear to God, someone listens to this show from WWE, how, like, we couldn't name the last time the women had a storyline that was, like, a main event that didn't have a title, or any storyline that didn't have a title.
Yeah.
So
here it is.
They're trying,
Yeah.
and I don't care. I don't care. Trish turned heel. I'm like, cool.
Listen, I love seeing Trish in any aspect whatsoever, because she just doesn't age. And like I don't understand it. Like
No, she ages. She is.
no,
Look,
she does not age at all. Listen,
she's more machine now than man.
there's something in that Canadian water, let me tell you. But I like to see it. Will it lead to something? Who knows? Again, it's a one-off. Yes, Kay?
It might stretch
I
out
have
further than
Well, I have a
Backlash.
prediction.
What's that?
Well, I think this is setting up for Trish and Lita at SummerSlam, like one last time.
Huh.
I promise you, I don't want that.
No thanks. No thanks. I'm gonna pass on
I
that.
love Trish and Lita, right? Trish
Same.
can probably still give you a good 12 minutes. Lita might give you a good 4.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Solid, like, put together, well executed 4 minutes. And the rest of it is going to be either clunky, depressing or disappointing.
They didn't look that great at Mania, to be honest. I mean, it
No,
was
they were
fine. The
fine.
match was fine, but I was just like, ooh, they didn't look so good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Trish is clearly in better shape than Lita, I think, ring shape wise.
Of course.
You know,
Look at her.
Yeah. I mean,
She's definitely in shape.
she was a fitness model
Okay.
for a reason.
But then you got to look at their movesets. Like, Lita's moveset calls for so much more. That
Yeah.
she, like, remember, we sit here in astonishment at everything that Rey Mysterio can still do to this day.
Mhm.
And we expect Lita to come from the living room and do the same shit? Are you crazy?
You got a point. It's a very, 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 very fair point. So it's going to be interesting to see where Trish goes with this. If anybody can be a natural heel, Trish has a great heel face. And someone to argue about heel Trish is the best Trish. You know, so. But this also means if Trish is still wrestling, there's still hope for Mercedes versus Trish somewhere down the road, which we were deprived of after the first Women's Royal Rumble. Moving on, though. EO's...
Didn't happen.
Yeah. So Damage Control is somewhat going to break up because clearly Bayley's about to turn on both of them. But I do like the story that they've continued with this, where Bayley was going to get essentially another shot at Bianca's title, and EO and Dakota were like, well, how come you get all the chances and we don't? So Bayley switched begrudgingly, clearly by her face, in this picture. And now, folks, we have EO versus Bianca for the next Raw Women's Championship match. What are our thoughts, Charles first, of course, on EO finally getting her time to shine?
I kind of want this to go into a series. Like, I don't want a one-off, and then she goes on to the next opponent, mainly because she really don't got nobody else, but also because I think they can put together a hell of a series. Also, I like the way they got into this rift with Bayley because it makes sense. It's organic. You know what I mean? It gives you a storyline you can actually follow and kind of bite into. Like, okay, this makes sense. I would be kind of upset too if the same person keeps getting these looks and I don't get the opportunity and you keep fucking up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. Kay Murphy, what are your thoughts on this?
I agree. I want to see Io and Bianca have a substantial storyline and not have it just be a meaningless one-off. I'm just not necessarily sure if I believe at this time that Io is going to beat Bianca for the title.
No, I don't.
But
I don't think
also,
they are.
No.
I just don't know. Like, I really thought Asuka was going to win at Mania. Like, I'm not mad that Bianca retained because I love her, but I just don't know what else there is for her. Unless we get, I don't know, like an Eva Marie run or something.
Stop trying to make Eva Marie happen, K. Murphy. I know what you're trying to do. Don't you dare.
I am going to manifest the returns of CM Punk and Eva Marie by the end of
Listen,
the year.
Jeff Hardy, okay. CM Punk, begrudgingly okay. Do not try to bring back Eva Marie at all.
The only believable person for Bianca to drop to would be a Charlotte returning from a break after losing to Rhea.
I thought about Charlotte too, so she could beat all the but I wanted her to beat all the horsewomen, not. Which is why I wanted. I don't know.
Right. No. And you're 100% right. But she's got to beat them at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all know Bianca in the chase anyway, so it's an easy story. You let her drop, say, I don't know, Extreme Rules. You run that storyline. Let her win at the Chamber because she's already won the Rumble. Boom, WrestleMania, and she wins again.
I like it.
There you go. Charles, our amazing booker. Well, what are your thoughts on Bayley's outfit choice? Clearly the not give a shit sweats.
She looks great though. I'm not gonna lie, she looks fucking great. I would have cuddles with Bayley if she looked like that. Absolutely. That's totally. I'm ready for cuddles and TV. So that's my Bayley. I think Io Sky is going to go on a massive run this year. I think it's just beginning.
I think so too.
This is a one-off because they're going to tease the fuck out of you. They're going to make you say, "I want that match again," but she's going to go into a feud with Bayley first, beat her, build towards Bianca maybe at SummerSlam, maybe push it up further to Rumble.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get that series just at a later date because Io's going to go on a massive run. Because her in a feud with Bayley is going to do really good for her.
Yeah, no,
and Dakota's kind of just, Dakota.
She's kicking somewhere. Maybe she teams up with Tegan again.
Oh God, please.
No.
Team kicks.
But I think this is great news. I think this is a very good change in direction for Io because she is a star and she needs to be shown as one. Bayley has had her time in the sun plenty of times before, and now she's in a position where she kind of puts people over.
Here's what I want. I want Io and Bianca in like a cage match again, and I want Io to dive into the cage with a trash can on her head like she did at War Games in NXT.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just for no fucking reason. Io Sky needs to be in War Games again. She should always be a War Games.
Yes.
She should always be a War Games competitor. But let's move on to the K. Murphy portion of the show, where I don't know if you know, but Jay White showed up on AEW Dynamite last week.
Yes, I was
I don't know
there.
if you were there or not at all, but apparently you were. So talk about this moment with the quote-unquote hottest free agent supposedly joining AEW.
You're the only free agent, more like.
Well, no, they confirmed that he is all elite. So that was like fucking 3 minutes into the show. It was so fucking hot in the UBS arena for Jay White. Like, I almost blew out my voice for Jay White alone.
I'm not surprised at that. I've been with you at wrestling events.
It was, but this is the thing. My two predictions for UBS was Jay White if he didn't show up at Mania, which he didn't, and then he didn't show up at Raw after Mania, so I'm like, all right, he's going to AEW. Because I don't know. I don't see him on SmackDown at all.
Here's the thing. I don't see Jay White on WWE at all.
I think they could have if NXT was more black and gold.
Dude, Jay White literally looks like Big Cass and Daniel Bryan just as a normal person.
Speaking of Big Cass, Big Cass wrestled on the fucking Big Bill wrestled on Dark Elevation before the show.
Was that before or after the Ring of Honor tapings?
Before. I actually left during the Ring of Honor tapings. Sorry.
You put on before Ring of Honor.
They did. They didn't do Rampage after, they did Ring of Honor instead.
Because there wasn't Battle of the Belts last week.
Battle of the Belts was on Friday.
Yeah.
So they didn't do that on Long Island. They did that on like Rhode Island or some shit. Somewhere else.
The wrong island. I gotcha.
But we dipped after the first Ring of Honor match just to get the train home. Honestly, like I wanted to stay, but I needed to go home. That was more important. But the crowd was fucking wild. Like the pop for Jay White was one of the most unreal pops I've been to, like experienced in person.
Jay White needs to be in this all-in Wembley Stadium show.
Oh, he's definitely gonna be 1,000%. Like they'd be stupid to not have him wrestle. But what else do you have in the AEW?
Oh yeah, I wanted you to talk about, obviously Jay White's debut, but also we're going to talk about MJF Day on Long Island. In particular, what seems to be the prevailing feud now for MJF now, as if we're going with the pillars. How's the food, Charles?
It's the big man in the back, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Where we have, hold on, we're going to talk about the food later. Where we have MJF versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry seems to be the next big feud for the AEW World Title. So talk about MJF Day, K Murphy, as a Long Islander yourself.
So I went to this event with my partner who grew up in New Jersey. So like
Excellent. Great start. That's a phenomenal start.
I need you to know that she boos MJF. So like
Wow.
I'm literally
wow.
like,
How did you make it out alive?
well, I don't know, because I was screaming so ferociously for MJF that it didn't matter that my partner was wrong. But okay, so I was at Mania 35 when John Cena performed Thugonomics. Word Life, the spectacle of Pennies from Heaven in the UBS arena, immaculate, vibes perfect, his voice flawless. I did not expect a musical. I also had to show my partner the dinner debonair after we got home.
So awesome.
Oh my god!
Because because I mentioned that MJF can sing. I'm like, well, we know he can sing, and she's like, how? I'm like, well, didn't you see the AEW musical? And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh. So we watched it. I realized how shitty Jericho looked back in 2020.
Back then,
so bloated.
have you seen him now?
Because this was like, no, this was. Well, he was especially red during the dinner debonair, and I just remember this was like a little bit of the bubbly era where he was like, drunk and losing the title in Longhorn Steakhouses.
It was a great era of Jericho.
Like it was so good.
It's a great Jericho era.
I'll never forget
He's
that.
like 52.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
But it's wild to me, like going to UBS for AEW is like low key my favorite wrestling experience. Like generally, like between going to like Raw, I've never been to a SmackDown or an NXT taping,
Ooh.
but it's I went to Grand Slam, which is also like so special and wonderful in its own way. But going to see MJF on Long Island is fucking insane.
Yeah.
I am the best and worst version of myself when I go to AEW shows. The ferocity in which I was yelling "Scissor me, daddy ass" was unmatched.
My God.
Also, he brought out the fucking like the commissioner, the whoever of Oyster Bay, and he got booed the house down.
Yeah, because he's from Oyster fucking Bay. Fuck him.
I don't get it.
You don't understand it's a Long Island thing, Will.
No, dude, no one cares about Long Island. People from Long Island. Get over this.
It was no. The Heat in the UBS arena. It was Roman after Mania beating the Undertaker level of booze.
Yeah, because
there was
that guy.
There was a lower your taxes chant.
Yes.
Like immediately booed the house down, lower your taxes, that's when MJF goes, hey, he's a good guy. God, don't ruin this for me.
Well, no, because you know why he said that? Because he's actually a legit politician, because he's the one that gave MJF the proclamation for MJF Day.
No, I know
because that made headlines on fucking Newsday. Okay? Like, MJF Day was a real thing, and I'm so upset that they actually did this.
I'm not. I think it's incredible. I bought an MJF shirt at the show.
Of course you did. It's the only thing that should have been on sale.
Why do you think Tony Khan had to pay for that?
No, I think the politicians will do it just for free because it's free publicity for them.
Interesting. Someone got paid for that.
Someone got paid for it, yeah. It wasn't...
It's politics, Ricky. Come on now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's also publicity for that politician who's already hated in general.
MJF Day was probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen at a wrestling show live, just because it's so specific to, like,
Long Island.
my growing up. Like, the people that were there that are not from Long Island, that's not going to hit for them as much. Every time MJF has done anything at the UBS, like, do you remember the fucking video package with him on the fucking football field at JFK? Like,
that was so good.
Yeah, and then he made fun of CM Punk's return, which is fantastic.
Like, it's everything. MJF on Long Island is not... I've never experienced anything like that. And, like, going to New York City wrestling shows and seeing New York City talent in New York City does not hit like MJF on Long Island. It just doesn't.
Listen, once you become Long Island famous, you are famous here for life.
Like, he's going to be Billy Joel in, like, a year.
No one needs to be Billy Joel in any aspect whatsoever. Not even Billy Joel.
Oh, that's right. You hate Billy Joel.
Yeah, fuck Billy Joel. He's a piece of shit. Moving on to MJF Day. Another one of K's favorite people, Noam Dar, showed up on NXT with the Heritage Cup. And he has... Yes, and he has...
Wow! I forgot about that.
And Noam Dar was like, oh yeah, I had flight delays or whatever for not showing up to NXT for like over a year and fucking half. But Noam Dar is bringing the NXT Heritage Cup to regular NXT, and so let's get a refresher what the NXT Heritage Cup is. In comparison, to people who know, Will, Charles, K, this is it reminds me a lot of the ROH Pure Championship in regards to rules. And so here are the rules of the Heritage Cup. It is a match which includes 6 3-minute rounds, 20-second breaks between rounds, and it is 2 out of 3 falls. So you got to win 2 of these rounds. A fall is equal to a pinfall, submission, or a countout. So there is a possibility that no one wins a fall because they're just quick 3-minute rounds. It's essentially a 20-minute match broken up into 6 different segments. And so this,
weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a little bit off kilter. Like I said, it reminds you of ROH Pure rules, except the Pure rules are a little bit easier to follow. But Kay Murphy, as someone who followed NXT UK pretty extensively, what else can you tell us about the Heritage Cup?
Honestly, it's been so long that I can't give you any information.
Perfect.
Past what you've already said.
Perfect.
Not gonna lie.
This sounds way too complicated for no reason.
Well, according to Fretzelmania, who's also on our chat, thanks, Fretz, it's literally World of Sport UK Wrestling. And Charles, I know you have been an avid amateur wrestling fan. Does any of these rules seem somewhat familiar to you?
The time constraints here, bringing it up, that's about it. Other than that, it'd be one of the things I have to see in execution.
Yeah. I'm interested to see it as well. I want to see how it is executed. It's different. It's unique. There are match stipulations that we don't really see. I like the breaks in between rounds, so it makes it seem like it's more authentic in nature. It reminds me when they did, it was like Omega and Okada did like a 2 out of 3 falls or something like that, and they took breaks in between. Like they were literally like went back to their corners in between the matches, which I thought was cool. So this is going to be a unique spin. Like I said, I'd like to see how this plays out. Which is something that I really wanted to keep. I mean, the Heritage Cup in and of itself looks fucking phenomenal. Like, it's what the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy should look like, if it meant anything.
It's stunning, honestly.
Yeah, no, it is a beautiful looking trophy.
This screams Gryffindor.
Gryffindor!
10 points to Gryffindor.
So I'm interested to see how this is going to be executed on NXT with, a brand that already has a men's title, women's title, men's tag, women's tag, North American title. Now you're going to have the Heritage Cup. I'm going to be interested to see how this is going to be used to elevate the talent that is there. Also interesting to note, which I found out on NXT before we wrap up, the first ever, they had their first person compete on NXT that was part of their NIL program. So one of the first NIL recruits finally made it to TV and competed.
Cool.
So
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. He was a former football player from Northwestern. I forgot his name, but he didn't do too bad. He's clearly going to lose because it was his first time, but he didn't do too bad. But that's all the updates we really pretty much have for this week in the world of wrestling. It's a pretty interesting week in wrestling, but very happy that my good friend Charles showed up. So Charles, thank you for joining us. Is there anything that you would want to plug before we get out of here?
Like my fledgling modeling career? Like, not really.
Where can they find you on social media? Anything like that?
Yeah. So my IG is below, circumstantial hubris. Apparently you can't put the letters CUM together on Twitch, so I had to come up with something different. It's
Wait, what? Seriously?
I'm so serious. I tried to make this my Twitch handle, they wouldn't let me.
This comes in it?
Probably because it's not a real word because of the S, and so they just assumed I was going for something different.
Dude, you should have made it circumstantial. Sir, and come in space stand. It's my name. It's my legal name.
Oh man, that's hysterical.
It might be my new Discord name, Sir Cumstantial.
Right? No, my what the hell's my Twitch? Samurai Chuck. It's also my PlayStation handle.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm eventually gonna start live streaming my games more because I don't do anything else when I'm home but play games or watch stuff on TV. So I guess I'll be playing games and talk about the stuff I don't watch on TV.
Yeah.
And that's about all I got going on.
Maybe we'll make you the head of like Wrestle Addict Radio Twitch or something. I don't know. It's a property that I'm sitting on at the moment.
Why the hell?
Yeah, we can add you to it. We can add you. You can be exclusive to Twitch only, and just don't get us banned on Twitch. That's all I ask.
Or do.
I make
see how far we go with it. Also, fun fact: if anybody forgets, Charles is also the reason that our initial Hall of Famer Dusty Dave got all the merch that he got at WrestleMania weekend.
Did you like carry a belt for him or something?
No, we before we went to my boy Ronnie's restaurant, Charles and Dave went to the UPS and we
Oh, that's right, UPS. That's right. I forgot about that.
and shipped it. So, if there's anybody to thank for making sure Dave didn't have to slug all of his one-of-a-kind merchandise from WrestleMania, please thank
That
Charles.
was an insane afternoon.
Please thank Charles in advance.
To be clear, it wasn't me being big-hearted. He had that puppy dog look on his face, like he was going to ask me to carry some of his shit. And I was not, it wasn't happening. By no means. I didn't buy certain shit
Dave
because I didn't
has
want to
that
carry
effect a little bit.
He does. I hope Dave's doing well. Hey, Dave, what's going on? Hope you're doing well, Dave. Your birthday's coming up, Dave, in a couple of months, so.
Hell yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
Dusty Dave.
Dusty
What
Dave.
a man.
What a man. And on that note,
I
folks,
miss Dave.
Will, cue us out, sir. We're going to have a fun post show. We're going to pull up that roster, Charles. Get ready for that. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 336, A Hubris of Circumstance. Of course, I am your host, King Ricky Rose. You can formerly find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets. No time soon, except maybe if you find me on TikTok, maybe. BIGZ Ambassador Biggs. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast across all social media outlets. Like, share, subscribe, leave us some 5-star reviews. Buy some of our awesome merch. The link to all of that is in the description below. If you are listening to us, make sure you're listening to us on Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, which will have polls and questions up on our exclusive Spotify account for Wrestle Addict Radio because they're actually doing something with Spotify. Thanks, Anchor. And follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at addict_wrestle on Twitter and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else on the social media. We had a pleasant surprise with Kay Murphy, who's planning to probably come back on a more permanent basis. Sir Charles, our special guest host, was an awesome time. There's a lot more stories to tell in the post-show, but when we get to the post-show, we will talk about those. But first, Will Tarashuk.
Ladies and Germans, my name is Will Tarashuk. That's T as in Thomas, A-R-A-S-H-U-K. This morning I released an episode of Talking with Tarashuk, one of my top 5 favorite podcasts of all time, including all the ones I've done here on Kings of the Rings.
Wow.
This guy was fantastic. Desmond Ryan, a former Toronto police detective. So
Goodness
we did
gracious.
a full hour and a half talking about the police force, differences between Canadian and American police. We talked about defunding the police. He might have changed my mind, guys. Might support defunding the police now. I'll give you details in the post show.
Yeah, you should.
As well as I roasted him on the I debated him on the the Canadian trucker protests, which people considered the Canadian January 6th.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. It was interesting.
That was a lot of fun. We had a phenomenal discussion. Please go check that out. Talking with Tarashuk. Anyone, everywhere podcasts can be found. Kay Murphy. How are you, my darling? Kayfabe over there.
Hi. Hey, y'all. Proud to announce that for the first time ever, you could find me across all social media platforms at K_Fabe.
Yes!
That's KAE_FABE.
FABULOUS. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a rapper.
Yeah. I am fabulous. I am, for the first time in my adult life, on a relatively normal work and sleep schedule. I bought an exercise bike and I'm exercising.
Oh, shit.
Amazing. Excellent. That's awesome to hear.
Peloton K.
I have, oh no, God no, I'm not that bougie. I got a little, it sits under my desk so I can pedal while I'm sitting and working. So I pedal while I work.
Oh, that's a good thing. Don't do a sedentary lifestyle.
I love it. I've been doing it for a week. It came like the day before I switched to like daytime, and it's already made such a difference in like my sleep, like my mental health.
Good.
It fucking rocks. So yeah, let's go on the post show.
Yes, let's go on the post show with our brand new member Kayfabe, which is awesome. I'm already having merch ideas out the ass already in my head. But when we come back next week, folks, we're gonna have another guest host. He's gonna be the Will Gray from Bot Spots and Chair Shots is going to join our lovely little family.
That's gonna be
fun. It's gonna be.
That means the first guest game comes back.
The first guest game is gonna come back for the next couple of weeks. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about Will Gray and his story, ladies and gentlemen. I believe he's a certified chef and a cancer survivor. So we've got a lot of stuff for him to talk about. And then the week after that, we're going to have Kyle from April Bump. So we have a pretty loaded rest of our April with special guests and a lot of crazy stuff going on. So please be sure to tune in each and every week for the Friends of a Show era is still in effect until we say it's out, and I hate this damn song. So let's get out of here to the post show. Goodbye, good night, and fuck you, Slack, and the song. Fuck the song too. This has been a Wrestle Addict Radio branded podcast.